This is going to be the lab section for Azure DDoS Protection Services. And in this section, we are going to create a DDoS protection plan, and then we are going to protect the resources. As we have seen earlier, you can protect your public IP addresses, or you can apply to the VNet directly, and which we are going to see in live. DDoS protection plan resources need to be associated with at least one reason. That means when you create your plan, you have to associate to one reason. However, you can enable DDoS protection on virtual network in a different regions and across multiple subscription under the same single Microsoft intra tenant. For creating a DDoS protection, log into your portal, and from there you can select DDoS protection plans. Click on that. Click on create. You can create it from here or you can create it from here as well. As of now, there's no DDoS plan. So I need to choose one resource group. I'm going to choose my existing one. If you do not have any resource group, you need to create the new one. Then you need to give it a name. So this time, let's put GDP plan, or you can give any name, whatever works for you. And you can see this note here. You can create a single DDoS protection plan and apply it to the resources in all of your subscription. So now let's hit review and create. Validation is passed. Let's create. It shouldn't take very long. The deployment is in progress. And now the resource is ready. So let's go to the resource. Since our DDoS protection plan is ready, let's validate a couple of fields before we configure some resources to be protected. Under the Overview tab, you can see there's an option for delete, refresh, move. And in the activity log, when we created this plan, that is what you can see. So status is succeeded, started, accepted. And then under the tags, we have not mentioned any tag, however you can do it. And the main section is going to be the protected resources. That means what is being protected under this DDoS protection plan. As of now, you can see the option VNet, firewall, application gateway, load balancer, NIC, and all those things are there. However, I have not configured any resource, so everything is just going to be the blank, which we can verify. There's no firewall associated. I do not have any virtual gateway running. There's no load balancer as such, so everything is just blank. You can add your resources from here, or you can go to the resource and from there you can also call this plan. Under the property, it's just the resource group, and then this is going to be the key. When you are going to see those metrics when there's a DDoS attack launched, then you are going to see all those things here. So we will configure the resource first, then we are going to see the metric. Since I do not have any resources added under the protection plan, so you can do it two ways. Either you can add it from here and from the DDoS protection plan. So if you go to the add, you need to choose where exactly is your resource group, and then you can add the particular VNet. So in this example, I see I can add the VNet from here. And you can also go to the VNet and do the reverse way. So let's try to do that. And for that, what we need to do, I will choose virtual network. under the virtual network. So for example, this is a firewall VNet, and here I want to add a DDoS protection plan. So I can enable it, and it will ask what is the plan you want to add. So either you can choose it from here, or you can go to resource ID. How to get the resource ID? What you need to do, you need to go to, let's try to get the resource ID. If I choose this is a plan. So I need to discard this, and what I will do, go to the DDoS plan, and under the overview you can see this, and under the property you should see the resource ID. So if I copy this resource ID, and now I go back to the virtual network, which is a firewall VNet, I can call this DDoS protection, try to enable it. And if you know the plan, which you can call from here, if you know the resource ID, you can also put the resource ID, which is passed, and now you can save it. After saving that, let's explore the area which is the protected resources. If I click on that, it tells me there should be one VNet, and you see this firewall VNet that is being protected by the DDoS. And all the components, it comes whether you have some sort of the load balancer or NIC, everything which is part of this VNet will be protected. So in this example, I have only one VM which is running, so I should see one NIC, and that NIC is for the test VM. So that tells me this is being protected. Similarly, if you have the firewall and all those things, it will show you all the resources under that VNet, they will get protected. You do not need to wait for a real attack to happen, so you can go to the breakingpoint.cloud, and from there you can simulate your DDoS attack. For more documentation, what are going to be the stat and how to design, and you can visit this website, and there's a detailed tutorial which is available. Now I'm going to launch a attack towards the public IP address which is part of this VNet, and this in this case it is going to be this IP address which is 4.227.177.41. That particular IP 4.227.177.41, this is a public IP address from a VM which is hosted and part of the firewall VNet. I'm going to launch an attack from breakingpoint.cloud, and you can see the profile, what kind of DDoS you want to launch, and then you can look into the matrix whether this protection works or not. So the DDoS profile is 512B flood. Similarly, you are going to have these many attacks. Those are known, kind of DNS, NTP, TCP SYN. So these kind of the attacks you can launch. So in this case, let's try to launch TCP SYN flood, and then you are going to use the test set. How big is going to be the your attack? Whether it is coming from 4 different sources, you can choose 8, 16, or 32. So we will go for the first one, which is 4 source, 50 Mbps attack, and that is going to have the 100K PPS value. And the test duration is going to be 10-minute minimum. You can go for up to 30 minutes. So let's try to do it. We'll start the test. This is going to ask the subscription ID. There was some quota error, hence I have chosen to run a TCP SYN flood attack, which was queued up, and it is still running, what you can see on the screen. And let this test get completed, then we are going to look into the matrix from the Azure portal. This is showing the time remaining. So I will wait and let this DDoS attack get completed. This attack I stopped in between. However, you can see the stats, how many frames per second was sent. And now it's time to verify from the metrics whether we have seen this attack and it was mitigated from the Azure portal. We are back to this firewall VNet address space, and here you can choose your matrix. And now the metric which we are going to see, since we launched the TCP attack, so let's find out inbound sync to trigger the DDoS. That is exactly what we are seeing. So you see this. So there was one attack which was launched. If I cancel it, there's another metric which you can see whether you are under attack or not. So you can choose this one, and it is going to tell you this is one attack which was launched. And this is the chart what you can see. Similarly, if you launch other type of attacks, you're going to see everything real time. So this is inbound byte DDoS, inbound dropped, inbound packet DDoS, TCP bytes. So like that, you have a lot of metrics, what you can basically observe from here. Removing this subnet from DDoS attack is also going to be very simple step. So under the DDoS protection, under the virtual network, you see the option for disable. So now we want to disable it. So let's disable it, and now we are going to save it. In this way, it will be removed from the protection. There are always two ways you can do the DDoS protection, where the first thing where you can apply your DDoS protection to the whole VNet and all the resources part of the VNet will be protected. Another way you can apply your protection to the individual IP address. So in this case, I already applied the DDoS protection to this IP address, which you can enable from the overview, go to the protect, and what do you see, this protected IP address. So you have option, you can apply to the whole network or you can apply to the individual IP. So I already applied to the individual IP address, and to see the matrix, what you need to do, you can go to the matrix, and now here you are going to see these DDoS stats. So it is very similar way, but it is individually applied to the IP address. So these are the two options you have. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next section.